Hello everybody, welcome to some more BD Armory and welcome to some more weapon experiments where I try and work out what's the best way of arming my craft in some vaguely kind of scientific fashion, and I invite you along for the ride. Just while we get the introductions out of the way, I've got a fight here between my Red Hawks and one of the craft I was sent in a recent mailbag stream. This is the Lecken 18 by Titan RT. I am a bit of a sucker for a light and nimble single-engine craft, so I thought I'd throw these two together in a fight and see what happens. Anyway, today we're looking at guns, again. Last time we concluded that if you wanted guns on your craft, cliché though it was, the Vulcan cannon was probably your best bet. Sometimes a cliché is a cliché for a reason. But today we're looking at the somewhat trickier issue of gun placement. Let me explain. So here we are on the runway with the latest version of my Red Hawk, and when it comes to gun placement you can see that it's got two of these guns sort of in this shoulder-mounted position, I suppose you could call it. Yeah, I mean, there's so many variables we could talk about when it comes to gun placement. I mean, we could talk about how many guns. I think it's fairly well established now that it's a case of the more the merrier. We could talk about sort of vertical positioning. In my experience, most missed shots are when the craft is sort of pulling up, trying to acquire the target that way, and sort of falls behind the craft that's being targeted. So I try and lift it sort of quite high up. Horizontal positioning, you want to have them sort of central or central-ish, I think, because that's where the craft's going to try and point when it's trying to bring guns to bear. But I think the one thing we could really test is horizontal spacing. So why is there an issue with horizontal spacing? So let's take a look at the theory, and for these experiments I'm going to be using a Red Hawk, but I'm going to kit it out with 3 Vulcan cannons. I'm going to try and keep the vertical positioning as close to consistent as I possibly can, just so we don't have to worry about another variable. But yeah, if you can imagine, those 3 cannons are all in exactly the same place. They're clipped on top of each other, and this will create a single stream of bullets that will destroy pretty much anything it'll hit. But at the end of the day, it is just a single stream of bullet that your craft is waving about in the air, hoping to hit its opponent. If I start to space those guns out a bit, now you have 3 streams of bullets. Now, any one of those won't do as much damage, but it's now 3 streams of bullets you're waving around the air. You're going to have a much higher chance of actually hitting your enemy with one of them. So, which is the best? Or is there like a sweet spot somewhere in the middle? That's what we're going to try and find out. So we're going to try and produce one craft with 3 Vulcan cannons clipped on top of each other, one with them reasonably spread out, and another one with them like spread out quite a lot. And we're going to put them into a series of tests to see how they get on. So let's get cracking. To kick things off then, we have our version of the Red Hawk with 3 Vulcans clipped into each other here on the nose, and our second version, which is going to be the one with 3 Vulcans, all on the same height, but spaced a little further apart. And yes, I know some of these gun placements are going to look, yeah, not very pretty, but hey, it's all in the name of science. Anyway, I've set this up so that competition will begin at about 4,000 meters, 4 kilometers, which I think is about right for craft that are just armed with guns. So let's get this going and see what happens. And the competition starts fairly quickly this time, and well, it would be. It's just a 4 kilometer competition start, and now we're going to have a series of jousts, it looks like. So it's going to be very interesting to see if anybody gets taken out here. Of course, these craft with, as I said, the 3 guns clipped into one. Oh, already the gunfire's going in. I don't think we've got any hits straight away, which is kind of what I wanted. I wanted to get into these kind of dogfights to see who can make the best of the opportunities to get the kill. Jebediah Kerman, his 3 clipped-in Vulcans coming around. Oh, there's a lot of gunfire going on there, though. So the 3G2 here is the one with the 3 clipped-in Vulcans. The 3G1 is the one with the slightly spaced out one like this. Anyway, Valentina Kerman trying to train guns on one of the other Red Hawks. It's not really happening at the moment. These craft are quite manoeuvrable. They are going to be able to sort of squirrel away from anybody that's on their tail. Comes around. Tries to acquire a target. Oh my word, things pause for a second. One of the craft is gone. And that is, I think that's one of the ones with the three guns clipped completely together. That's one of the 3G1s? No, one of the 3G1s has gone. One of the 3G2s is looking like it's... one of the 3G1s, one of the 3G2s, they are both on borrowed time here. More gunfire coming in. Verena Kerman trying to pull a hard turn. Shake that Red Hawk from her tail. I think she might have succeeded. Trying to come about. Sorry, was I... No, the 3G2 is the one with the guns separated. This... Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm getting myself mixed up. Something pauses, something is exploding, I assume, or is that just one of them crashing into the seat? No! We've had a hand-to-hand kill! Oh my god, this is confusing, because all the craft are almost identically named, and they look almost identical. I could have thought this through so much better. I really, really could have done. Jebediah Kerman in trouble here, though. The craft on his tail gets a little bit of damage, does some more damage. He's now just a gliding body. One of the other craft has gone though as well. Looks like this craft has suffered a lot of damage. Daffy Kerman in one of the 3G1s. Yeah, and all the craft with those completely clipped together guns have gone. Now just sitting ducks for the 3G2s to pick off. Verena Kerman, a lot of bullet hits. Now that's kind of the opposite of what I was expecting. I was expecting, you know, the 3G1s to just hit something and destroy it, but it looks like that's sort of more what's happened with the 3G2s. Anyway, I don't think it's going to be too controversial for us to call this for the 3G2s and move on. So, yeah, let's go and test these a little further. For our second test that we're going to put each combination of craft through, well, it's just an extension of the first test, really. Only instead of a 3v3, we're going to put them through a series of 2v2s. It's just kind of quicker to do it that way. Unlike with the previous weapon experiments video, where we made it sort of like full fights with missiles and everything, we're just concentrating on the guns this time, because last time there were so many missile kills, it sort of spoiled the results. Also means we can only, well, we can get away with only doing the two tests rather than having to put a third one in there as well. For the clipped-together guns versus the slightly spaced-out guns, it was a dead heat. They won 5 fights each, so nothing really to report there. So I suppose we should just move on and see what the next combination holds in store for us. The next combination we'll be testing out then is the clipped-together gun Red Hawks versus the spaced far apart gun Red Hawks. I really need to come up with some better names for these. Anyway, yeah, let's set this thing to a 4,000 meter competition distance and get going. So our second competition starts, and once again we are following in the clipped together Red Hawks. The Red Hawks, the version 1 Red Hawks. I'm just going to call them the version 1 Red Hawks, the version 2 Red Hawks, and the version 3 Red Hawks. The gunfire has started already. The clipped together Red Hawks, the version 1 Red Hawks, getting in a lot of gunfire, but none of it seems to have hit. Oh, was that friendly fire? That came from behind. Jebediah Kerman, a puff of smoke, lost one of his wing control surfaces. The version 3, one of the version 3s has gone already. And I think that is one of the dangers with the version 1s, just one hit and you are out of here. Well, I mean, that didn't really come to fruition last time, but there we go. Jebediah Kerman and a wingman laying it into one of the version 3s. They've swapped names. This is what happened last time. It made me... It sort of confused me then as well. This is the version 3, trust me. Valentina Kerman. Oh, lost one of the guns as well. Still 2 there. Something's exploding. What is it? Ah, it's just that version 3 crashing into the ground. Trying to lay guns down. Missing one of the guns, though. It's not going to make it. No, can't quite get the kill. Shawnee Kerman. In a bit of trouble, it looks like. Someone on his tail. Had really powerful stream of bullets there. Just the one, so not quite as much of a chance as hitting him, but still pretty dangerous. Just about manages to shake the Red Hawk on his tail, the version 1. Oh, but gets a hit. Sorry, gets hit. Has both his air intakes stripped off, and now it will just be a slow glide towards the ground if he's not finished off before then. Valentina Kerman missing an engine now as well as a lot of control surfaces and a bit of wing surface. It's not looking like a good day at the office for the version 3s so far. Coming about. A couple of those version 1s distracted by our terminally wounded wingman, but it doesn't look like she's going to be able to make it count, really. Doesn't seem to be in the mood to pick a target and track it. Shawnee Kerman hits, surely providing a sitting duck. That's quite an impressive glide speed, though. Yeah, I think some of them might have refocused their attention on Valentina Kerman. Yeah, one of them trying to pick up Valentina. Valentina trying her best to control her vehicle and come about and do something. Gets a smattering. Takes some more damage. Still going. Still has both in-air intakes, which seems to be a little bit of a vulnerability on the Red Hawk. She is still going. Not quite the ability to control it. Loses a lot more stuff now. That's what I was talking about. Just this one very brief opportunity to open up with the guns. And the version 1 took it. And yeah, Valentina paid not the heaviest price for it, but still, it's not looking good. How's Shawnee Kerman doing? Still just gliding slowly down to the ground. Valentina trying to control their craft. Oh, Valentina, you're putting up a brave effort, but more gunfire coming in. More stuff being stripped from her craft. More stuff being stripped from her craft. She keeps going. She's down to the 1 air intake. That one stream of bullets coming very close. The version 1 Red Hawk can't quite get it to land, though. But I think she might have lost control terminally here. Yeah, that's looking like a fatal spiral. And it's the version 1 Red Hawks who are victorious this time around, although Shawnee Kerman seems to have made a pretty nice go of the landing. Okay. Never mind. Moving on. So these clipped-together guns of the version 1 Red Hawk triumphed in that 3v3 over the spread-out guns of the version 3, but when it came to the 2v2s, it was a very, very different story. The version 3's managing to triumph in 7 out of the 10 fights. Now, watching these fights, it really did become apparent just how much extra chance those version 3s had to hit their opponent, and the version 1s, as I said, while they'll do more damage if they do hit you, that was just completely outweighed by that increase in the probability of hitting in the first place. Anyway, another combination done, let's move on to our final one. So now, of course, there's only one remaining combination of these craft to go head-to-head, and that's the somewhat spread-out guns of the version 2 Red Hawk and the very spread-out guns of the version 3 Red Hawk. Let's get this one set to 4 kilometers, and let's get it going. So the final 3v3 of this of today's video starts. Once again, closing in once again, going for the joust. Be interesting to see if we actually do get any kills this time. Jebediah Kerman barreling in. It's the version 2s that seem to get away the most of the early gunfire. Oh, Jebediah so very nearly getting the drop on one of those version 3s. The craft names have switched again. Oh, Jebediah taking a hit. Still has his weapons, lost an air intake, losing quite a lot of other stuff now. Oh my word, that is a very early kill for the version 3s. Please ignore what you see on the vessel switcher. Is everybody else in good health? That looks like there was some more damage being done. One of the craft is just being ripped apart there. Oh, it's another one of the version 2s. Just being shredded. All the version 2s are gone. And all the version 3s still in rude health. Marina Kerman's not leaving anything to chance though, even though her opponent is reduced to little more than a cockpit. Yeah, so that was... Oh no, one of the version... No, sorry, yeah, it's the version 2s that have gone. It's the version 3s who are all completely healthy. Has any of these got so much as a scratch on them? I don't think they do. Okay, it's a convincing victory. Let's look at this pairing in a bit more detail and yeah, move on from there. On to our final set of 2v2s, and it's very much the same story as the 3v3. The version 3 Red Hawk really managing to do a number on the version 2. For whatever reason, there were some really long fights this time. I don't know what was causing that, but ultimately those spread out guns did triumph, and they managed to win 8 of the 10 fights I ran with them. So yeah. Anyway, that's all the fights done and dusted. Let's move on and see what conclusions we can draw. What have we learnt today then? Just for this, I've sat all 3 versions of the Red Hawk on top of the astronaut complex, because why not? And I think there's only one easy conclusion to draw. I honestly thought there would be some kind of sweet spot in the middle, some sort of combination between being able to do a lot of damage if you do hit, and sort of having a slightly spread out spray of fire so that you had a higher chance to hit. So I thought the version 2 on the left of your screen would triumph, maybe by a narrow margin, but no, in the end it wasn't even close. The craft on the right, the version 3, those really spread out guns, they really did triumph. They won as many of the 2v2s as the other 2 combined. It wasn't even by a small margin, so I'm going to have to start to rethink the design of some of my craft pretty quickly. As I said earlier, there are just so many variables with gun placement, I couldn't possibly cover them all, so I hope at least we've given one of them a thorough treatment, and we will have to leave things there. If you've got any thoughts on this, please let me know in the comments. Same if you have any ideas for any more weapon experiments you'd like me to do. If you have enjoyed today's video and you haven't already, please consider liking, subscribing, follow me on Twitter, getting involved with the Discord, maybe even, if you fancy it, popping over to Patreon and helping to support the channel. I will be back soon with some more BD Armory, but until then, thanks for watching, take care, and I'll see you next time.